and I'm waiting on my fighter to come through so we can get this work in. She got a big fight coming up, a couple big fights coming up. We got a fight at King's Gym, and we have one at the Beautiful Brawlers. So we're looking forward to putting on a spectacular performance.
And like, talk about some of your transitions, because I know you're still a pro fighter, but you're also working with a lot of fighters. Explain kind of the work you do and some of the stuff that's going on.
Well, you know, I'm definitely still a fighter. I took a lot of time off since my last fight to do more community work. I felt like I was neglecting the community. And as I've always said from the beginning of my career, I never wanted to be a boxer. I didn't walk into the gym with intentions on becoming the lightweight champion of the world, you know, like a lot of other fighters do. My thing was, I wanted to learn how to kick people's ass in the streets, because I was a street fighter and I was from the hood and I had a little man's complex. So I went to the gym because I wanted to learn how to defend myself on the streets. And I got good enough to where people kept suggesting that I turn pro. So I turned pro and ended up making a lot of money out of it. And the more the money came in, the longer I stayed in the game.
So now, like, basically for the pro career, it's a small business for you. So it's like you'll take a fight if the money's right, but you've had opportunities and you've built your career up to fight on Top Rank shows, Al Heyman shows. You feel like the opportunity has to be right for you to fight.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, one of the issues, one of the dilemmas with my career is that from 2014 to today, I've managed myself. And I didn't realize all the way up until this point that there's a huge conflict with being a fighter and being a manager, managing yourself at the same time. One of the problems is that the interests of a fighter, or the ideas of a fighter and the ideas of a manager, they're in conflict. As a fighter, we're willing to fight anybody. We want to prove to ourselves that we can beat this guy, or I can be a champ, or I can be invincible, or something like that. Whereas as a manager, we realize that there's a roadmap to getting there. And so, nope, we better not take that fight, we better take this fight, etc. And I would just take any fight because I wanted to prove that I was the best, and I felt like every single loss that I had, I felt like I could sincerely win that fight. And so I made a poor management decision, but I made a fighter's decision.
Is there any fight that maybe you don't regret, but if you had a manager, they might have steered you away from it if you look back on things?
I believe my fight with Mike Yes Indeed Reed, when I believe I was 4-0 and I was undefeated. That was my first loss, and I was ranked like 27 in the U.S. And I definitely think that was a foolish decision to take that fight, to go out and fight such a top prospect in his hometown, in his backyard, with all the odds against me, and some of the money wasn't right. And I took that. I didn't manage myself in that fight. That was my first time breaking away from my manager, Robert Salinas, who I respect, who I love to this day and appreciate all that he's done for me. But I felt like that was a poor management decision, and that was when I started, managing myself. Another fight would be probably the Maxim Dadashev fight. I felt really good, best training camp of my life. I felt so great. My sparring was amazing. Everything was great for that camp, and I was in great shape. So I felt like it was time for me to take that fight. I'm not mad at myself for taking that fight, and I knew what was at stake, the pros and cons of taking that fight. But I definitely think that it would have been a better decision to move around him and wait till down the line to take that fight.
Okay. So where have you been working with these young fighters lately?
Most of my fighters, we train out of Guardian Gym. It's a fairly new gym. It's also it's boxing as well as jiu-jitsu. It's located downtown, actually 1922 Webster Street. It's a downtown area in Oakland. What I love about the gym is that it's a not-for-profit, and we train youth between the ages of 10 and 18 for free. And the goal is to get as many youth as possible in Oakland to take up boxing and jiu-jitsu as a means of escape, as a means of discipline, and just like a safe haven for kids in the urban community. I train my fighters there now. We don't have a ring at that gym. We have a new location coming pretty soon. We'll have a ring and all that, so it's still under construction development. But I'm working with the fighter named Clarence Walker, and Morgan. I'm sounding stupid right now. I can't think of her full name.
Morgan Rucker?
Yeah, Morgan Rucker. So we're working with Morgan Rucker, and she's pretty much the cream of the crop right now for me. I've been training her for about 1.5 years now, and yeah, we're just training out of Guardian Gym.